Hi everyone. This question is kind of similar to the way that we solved number 15, but a little bit different. So we start off with 600 buttons. We're told that 35% of them are round and the rest are square. So if we subtract 35% from 100%, of course we get 65%. So we can tell right away that 65% of the buttons are square. Next thing that happens is we get 200 more buttons in this box, like that. We don't know how many of them are square and we don't know how many of them are round. It's a mix. But what we are told is that the percentage of square buttons now has increased to 70%. It was 65% before, now it's 70%. And I'm going to cross out these percentages because they are no longer valid in the context of the entire box, because percentages are meant to represent the entire thing. And these percentages no longer consider that we now have another 200 buttons. So 200 more buttons. How many buttons do we have altogether now? Well, 600 plus 200 gives us 800. And we know that 70% of the buttons are square. So let's find out how many buttons that actually is. So I take 70% and I multiply that by 800. I can also think about this in terms of fractions. So I can write instead of 70, I can write 70 over 100 times 800, which I can simplify to 70 times 8. And that gives me 560 buttons. So I know that I now have 560 square buttons, whereas I used to have only, how many did I used to have? Well, let's find out actually. If I had 600 buttons to start off with and 65% of them were square, I can multiply 65% by 600. I could have done this before too. And 65% of 600 gives us 390 square buttons. Now all I have to do is take my new number of square buttons and subtract my old number of square buttons. So 560 minus 390 gives 170 square buttons. Oops. So that's our answer. The question doesn't ask how many of the new buttons that were given were round, but you are welcome to figure that out.